What it do, what it is? It's your girl, Black Pup, aka Soda Baby, aka Asuka. You know, I'm doing so toxic TV, so let's get into these hot topics. First on our docket, we have Cardi B versus Tasha K. Recently, Cardi B took a win with a $4 million lawsuit against Tasha K. Tasha K is a YouTuber that was putting out false narratives, lies, and several videos about Cardi B about her having STDs and just spreading fake rumors overall about her family life and her husband. And she even stooped to pulling people from Cardi B's past life to interview about Cardi B to spread that false narrative on her. And recently, Cardi B won in court with proving that Tasha K's claims were false by the court making her show her medical records to show if she has anything. And Cardi B also has footage of Tasha K admitting to the fact that she spreads false rumors for clicks and views.
He lied! Y'all niggas worship him!
That's all you got. You ain't got looks. You ain't got looks. Bitch, I knew it was fake. And guess what? Because I knew it was fake, guess what? I still made that viral, okay? I still made it go viral, you dumb. And it does nothing to my credibility at all, okay?
And she made this live that y'all just watched after she found out Cardi B was suing her. What a fool. Because this was so avoidable, because Cardi B sent her the cease and desist to stop talking about her. But she had so much to prove that she took it all the way with it. Idiot. She did this to herself, bro. Now she got to pay $4 million goddamn dollars for defamation of character. You can't even say, oh, it's just $4 million. Like, that don't even sit right. That is a heavy ticket. And word on the street is she can't file bankruptcy or insurance because the court doesn't cover that bill. This is all public information. And allegedly, they say Tasha K ain't paid her taxes in 3 years. And the treasurer man was in the courtroom taking notes. So it looks like Tasha K gonna be going from sipping that wine to sipping that Mad Dog 2020. And they will be back in court within the next 30 days regarding her YouTube channel and what's going to happen with that. I don't feel like she should get her YouTube channel taken down, maybe suspended for a certain amount of time. But I mean, how else y'all expect her to pay? Like, this is her bread and butter. She does have an app and a website, I believe. But, you know, I feel like they shouldn't take her channel down. But they made the right example out of her, and she deserves everything that she's getting right now. Because honestly, I could never, ever, ever get into her because she was such a fucking liar. Like, I was subscribed for like a week and I unsubscribed because it was just too much. So tell me how y'all feel about that. Do y'all think that she should get her channel terminated, or should it be suspended? What y'all think should happen to her? Tell me what y'all think in the comments below. And people trying to spin this narrative into making it about a black woman thing. No, this is not a black woman thing. This is, girl, you're a liar thing. Don't try to bring race into it because you lied and it's on public documents. So shout out to Cardi B for taking this win, you know, because who knows? No, I don't know who was going to take her down, but she met her match. And, you know, Cardi B opened up about feeling suicidal, and there was a point in time she didn't even want to sleep with her husband, and, you know, she just was really ashamed and embarrassed. But, you know, I'm glad that she found the strength to go through with this and, you know, really show people that you can fight for your truth and fight for your rights, and don't back down no matter how big or small. So shout out to Cardi B for that. And I hope that she's doing well mentally and emotionally, because money cannot buy you self-esteem. Next on the docket, we have Lawrence Smithfields. I want to start off by saying rest in peace and happy birthday to Lawrence Smithfields. She would have been 24 years old on Sunday, January 23rd. And in honor of her life, people took to the streets to march and protest. Lawrence Smithfields is a 23-year-old influencer who recently was found dead in her apartment by the police. On Monday, the Office of the Chief State Medical Examiner released its findings in the case, saying Smithfield's death was accidental. It was due to the combined effects of fentanyl, promethazine, hydroxine, and alcohol. Smithfield was dead in her home December 12th after going on a date with an older white male who she met on Bumble. The man who was with Fields told the police they were drinking shots of tequila and Fields became ill. He carried her to her bedroom, laid down next to her, and fell asleep. He also told officers he woke up next to Smithfields at 6:30 a.m. to find that blood was coming out of her right nostril and she was not breathing. That's when he called 911. And after the police let off Matthew Fountain, unquestioned, about the situation because he seemed like a quote-unquote good guy, they closed the case. But from the high demands from her family, friends, and people in general and online, they reopened the case.
I feel like because he's a white guy and she's a black girl, it's just almost like they just thrown it under the rug.
That night she was silenced, so now we are her voice. Right. But we're here and we're fighting for her.
First and foremost, I want to give props and the flowers to Real Talks with Yanni for covering this story, yo. You know, I'm new to this YouTube stuff, but she's true to this. Shout out to Real Talks with Yanni. She covers every tragedy and story that Black girls go through, whether it be us being taken advantage of or just mistreating and, situations like this. And she also opened up on her situations and experiences of being taken advantage of by white men and no one coming to defend her, no one coming to save her, and even taking things to court and it's still being thrown out. So if you relate, if you can resonate with her message and what she talks about, please go subscribe. And I see her and I respect her for her fearlessness, her strength, and her courage, because it takes a lot to cover Black stories and the tragedies that happens in our culture, in our community. She's also one of the first YouTubers that I saw covering this story. And she recently also pointed out that this story wasn't getting as much coverage as it deserves till Cardi B said something. And I totally agree. Cardi B recently said, "Nah, this man don't look old, and it's not old at all." And yet the media made it seem like she was with the old man looking to trick on her. I'm disgusted on how they spin the narrative, especially because I see people saying online that's what she gets. She also said, "This is so scary. A fictional murder character, but in real life. Justice for Lauren. Connecticut, you have failed this young lady." And since then, I have been seeing more media outlets pick up this story, including me. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes you get discouraged on heavy topics because we all know how certain things play out. We want to be optimistic, but at the same time, realistic. And sometimes it does take that person with power and influence to say something to wake that fire up and that courage in people's hearts, because we're just little people. However, posts and hashtags go a long way. And when people like Tokyo Tony go on record and say Martin Luther King didn't do shit, and there's majority of people in the comments agreeing with that.
Look, it's the same who's getting bit by the dogs. Ain't nothing changed since then. Martin Luther King ain't did a mother thing. Sorry to say it. I say it every mother year. I ain't gonna take my
And it's like, what do you expect? Back then, all he had was his voice and the courage to even speak out on anything. So it's like, you can only expect so much. It's like people get on the internet and think that the internet is what solves all the problems. And I ain't gonna hold you. I'm one of those people who have said dumb stuff because, I feel like the internet is what connects everything. And that's not what it was. Back in the day, people had bigger fish to fry. And we didn't have the rights. And if it wasn't for Martin Luther King, we would probably be drinking from the colored folk fountain. If he didn't have the voice and the courage, if he didn't have the self-control to get spit on by white people because of having his courage and killed behind speaking about what he spoke about. So before you go running behind an opinion just because it's unpopular, ask yourself, what are you doing for the community for you to even be talking like what you would have done, and if you even doing it. Martin Luther King, he was here to set the tone, and it's up to us to take it to where we need it to be, period. And right now, I'm really trying to find the right words to sound realistic and not discouraging. Because getting behind Black people's pain and standing up for Black people is not for the weak, and it is very intimidating, you know. But I will say this, sometimes some people are called to be that leadership, that figure of leadership, so that we, the little people, can get behind them and, you know, make things shift and shake, because you have to know your facts. And we truly, dearly need leadership when it comes to these situations, because men are always going to ride for men. And I hate to sound a little divisive, but we need that woman figurative who's not afraid and who knows her stuff, that we could get behind her, you know. Seriously, because I'm gonna be honest with you, this is not my first calling, but I definitely don't mind handling the light work and handling that follow-up. Everyone is not meant to be a leader, and everyone is not meant to be followed just because they talking about some Black period. The reality is, a Black man can't speak for a Black woman, because you aren't a Black woman and you don't know the reality of that. However, it would be nice if the loyalty was even and equal, but we really do have to focus on ourselves, because as Black women, this is the first time that we're really standing up for ourselves and, you know, making things move, because this is the first time this is happening. So it is new to the world. We're all growing and learning about the way society works, and I feel like we all should work to unlearn what doesn't serve us. And I know there's people that are doing the work, and there's people that has that pushback against it. And unfortunately, we're going to have to separate the two, because just because people have been doing things a certain way since the beginning of time doesn't mean that it's not hurting ourselves. And it doesn't mean that we can't find better ways to do things. And I feel like I'm getting a little off topic. I feel like I'm going to a place where I could save this topic for another day. And to bring it back to Lauren, I just really hope that whatever officers that were there, their body cams need to be looked at. I feel like Lauren needs an RAPE kit tested on her for DNA, along with Matthew. He needs to be tested for DNA, and any officer that was there on the scene, because for them to let him go like that, it tells me that they may be in on a little secret that we don't know, because only God knows what extent all those men only officers will go to hide any information, to mix up any type of DNA, because the officers didn't get tested. Who knows how they could have had their way with that body when no one else was around. And that's all I'm gonna say on that. So let me know what y'all think in the comments. Make sure you follow me on It's Black Up on Instagram, So to Talk TV, my backup page. And do those officers need to be tested for the RAP kit as well? Because we need some footage. Is there any cameras in that room? Let me know what y'all thoughts are.